Hi everyone. So a lot of people were messaging me on Instagram and asking me in the YouTube comments that what sort of setup I have on my iPhone 12. So I think it's a trend on YouTube, like people wants to know that what sort of apps we use, and sometimes it benefits you. So no one is sponsoring this video. I'm just going to tell you what sort of apps I use. I mean, maybe you like it, maybe you not, but it's just something that might be useful for you. I use two phones right now. Like I use Pixel 4a and this iPhone 12. The only difference of apps between these two phones right now, that I use my YouTube Studio on this phone and I don't carry it everywhere because I really don't have time to track YouTube every single day. I have other job as well, so I try to get less distracted with the YouTube nowadays. So let me just turn on my screen recording widget and I'll just talk about this iPhone 12 because I usually have almost every single app on those phones as well. So in case if I carry that phone, I don't have to think about anything. So I'll start with the left widget section. So I have this battery widget right now because in iPhone you cannot track the battery percentage on the status bar itself. So I have this battery widget, which also helps me with this AirPod Pro. So whenever I open it, it's easier to track that, like you can see, and there will be a pop-up notification about AirPods Pro, like you can see. So it helps me track that. For the another widget, I have this stock widget. I track my stock here. I really like this. So if you can just check, right now I'm just tracking this single stock. So it helps me and I like how it looks. And then next I have this widget, which is a stack widget, which just tells me like the weather, and also there are a lot of meetings and calendar widget. So it changes automatically according. So if I don't have any sort of meetings, it just shows me the weather right now. But if I have some meetings planned on the same day, the calendar widget, it works smartly, but I actually hardly notice it. It just helps me with the meetings. And then there's a section for the suggesting app. It usually suggests me most of the apps I use. So right now I've just ordered sushi and I'm waiting for that. So that's one thing. I'd like to order food, but I'll come to the app section later. But this is some suggestion app which I normally use and it suggests me like pretty fine. And then I have a WhatsApp widget which just tells me like I have a lot of muted groups. So it just tells me if there is a message or not because it doesn't come in the notifications. So that was my left section. That's how I use. In the middle I have just a very plain basic screen because I'm coming from Android phone and I like a blank screen section. It was not there on iPhone, but now after iOS 14 it's a plain screen, and this is how I usually keep my phone when I actually don't want to get distracted, because every time there's an app on my screen I usually open it. On the right section, this is my like productivity sort of page. So I have all the apps lying around from the right side to left. I like how I use it and how accessible they are. So on the left I have two widgets. One is for the date, what date it is, and it just tells me what's the current event, like what sort of meeting I have, the next meeting. So it helps me with that. And there's a photos widget, which just like I don't really have time to go back and check the photos, so it keeps featuring some photos, which I think it's a good thing. I also had a Google Photos widget, but I didn't like those photos because it shows me a very old photos, which I don't know, so I removed that. So these are my apps. So on the right section, it depends like how I use it. So these are the section which are mostly accessible to me with my thumb easily. So these are like most used app. So on the bottom left I have YouTube because I use a lot of YouTube. I watch a lot of videos. Then it's Signal because I was going to switch to Signal from WhatsApp. I think it's going to happen pretty soon. A lot of people are coming on Signal, so I use that. I use Instagram. There's Yahoo Mail, that Yahoo address I give in my YouTube. So if anyone is going to do any sort of sponsorship video with me, I wait for that email. I actually get a lot of sponsorship, but I don't like to do work with them, so waiting for a good one. And then there's Twitter, camera, and like Twitter, you know already, I am on Twitter, so if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter. There's a camera app. I actually use it very less nowadays, but like it's there, and you can also pull down the notification and just click camera from here as well. If you want to see my setup, this is my setup. Anyway, then there is Slack. This is for my company. I don't know what to show here. And then there's Google Maps, Mobile Pay. My bank is ICICI Bank. I'm not going to tell you my account number. And then there's Spotify. I use Spotify only when I travel. Otherwise I don't really have time to listen to music, or I just use my system because I'm usually sitting on my system. And then there's Google Pay. I do a lot of transactions, so I do use it every single day because I have to pay for foods and a lot of stuff. And then there's Gmail, which I have my personal Gmail and my official Gmail as well. And then there is Amazon because I like to do shopping. That's how I make videos, buy products and everything. So I don't like this new icon now. And then there is Google. So I'm coming from Android, like and it's usually on the left side of every Google phone, but I like to read a lot of stuff from Google itself. I'm not a TV watching person and don't know what the news is going on right now, so that's how I keep track of everything. Then there's Zomato. I mean, if you don't know what Zomato is, a food delivery app. I love to eat food. Like sushi is coming right now, so after this video I'm going to eat sushi. And there's Keep. Keep is something that I keep track of, like what sort of videos I'm going to do, what are the points I'm going to talk about, which helps me with that, so I keep it here. So if I'm using a phone and I notice something, I write it immediately in the Keep so that I can create a script after that. So these are my mainly using apps. In the bottom, as you can see, this is the phone dialer app, WhatsApp, Safari. That's my basic setup. I have a lot of other apps which I use, so I just try to search them. Like nowadays I'm using Wise a lot. So I really like Wise. Wise is something I recommend to everyone if you have some sort of transaction from outside, because I get some money from US as well. So I prefer this over PayPal. They charge very less amount, and also they give you money like very instantly in just 2-3 hours. So I really like Wise. And this is my normal app library like every one of you have, so I don't add every app which I install on the main page, so everything comes here. So these are my some recent apps. So this is my for new Asus router, like this is what I'm using right now. And next is the BlaBlaCar. Is just a carpool app. Sometime I go to my hometown, I don't want to drive, I use that app. Kika is for my official stuff, like I need to take care of my finances, leaves and stuff. Signal, you already know. Slack, Smart Things, I have a Samsung Smart TV, I need to control it, so I use the Smart Things. Spotify and Wise I already talked about. So these are my recent apps. There are some productivity apps. I actually have a lot of apps. So I use Dashlane. I recommend to a lot of people, but I think if you want something as a password manager, and if you are on iPhone, it's a really good app, and it's just for 149 rupees per year. I really like that app, so I think you should try that. And then there's Docs, Files, something related to my investment, like I have iPruTouch, I invest in mutual fund, SIP. I would suggest keep investing. Like this is something you should do from very early stage of your life. And then some insurance sort of stuff. I have Kite. I used to have some stock, but I don't do that anymore. Spectra is for my internet app. And then Notes and Splitwise, like I used to go to office, we used to order a lot between multiple people, so it's not easy to divide money at that point of time, so we use Splitwise. I also use Surfshark. Mr. Who the Boss convinced me to purchase Surfshark VPN, and there was a time in the lockdown when you can't see YouTube on 4K, so I was using VPN to watch that. And there are some entertainment apps. I use Apple TV. I still have some subscription left, and I have Xbox, so I can control my app from Xbox as well. So, but I don't usually use that. And utilities, there are some application I use OpenVPN to connect my official VPN sometimes. And there's Chrome, but I haven't used it in a very long time. Authy is like two-factor authentication, if you don't know what that is. There's Fast, just to know like what my internet speed is, if you want to check, like this is what this is right now. I use Wi-Fi 6 right now. If you want to watch that Wi-Fi 6 video, please go ahead. And just basic applications. I don't think I have a lot of things. Uber I'm not using nowadays because I'm not going anywhere, so basically nothing as in travel apps. And some simple apps like this is Smetch to control my night lamp. If you want to see, it'll just turn it off, turn it on. But I have connected with my Google itself, so I don't use that. I have Google Home, which controls my lights. I really don't have a big smart home sort of stuff. I like to do things on my own, but sometimes I'm just lazy. So yeah, I think this was my setup. I know it was more of a fast video. I was nervous because I didn't write any sort of script. So if you don't like anything about it, just let me know so I can improve later. But if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. My name is Rohit. I'll see you in the next one. Till then.